Millions of Americans took to the streets yesterday in No Kings events across the country to protest President Trump's authoritarian power grabs. The events brought together people from all backgrounds and across the political spectrum, including at least one former White House lawyer for former President Trump. Joining us now is Ty Cobb. He was a lawyer during the president's first term. He's evolved from managing the response to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe into allegations of Russian election interference to now participating in a No Kings rally in Charleston, South Carolina yesterday. That is him in that photo that is up right now on the left. Ty Cobb, thank you so much for joining us this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. My pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
First question for you. At the time, as I'm sure you remember, there was a lot of discussion and reporting about whether or not the people who were serving in the Trump administration, such as yourself, were actually serving as guardrails, or whether those background quotes were kind of lip service and to yourself and to ways to rationalize the jobs that you were doing when Trump was criticized for certain things he was doing at the time. Do you regret your service for then President Trump, or do you think that actually you were effectively serving as a guardrail at the time?
Oh, I think I'll let others judge my effectiveness, but I got the job done that I was asked to come in and do, managing the so-called Mueller investigation. I did it because I thought that given my long relationship with Bob Mueller, who I admire and who had been a friend of mine for a long time, that the two of us together might be able to do it without a bunch of court battles and vitriol. And we succeeded in that. We never had a court issue. We never had a subpoena issued. We never had a public fight, although the president had several with them. That didn't help my job, so I did feel compelled to try to smooth that out from time to time, although once Mr. Giuliani was hired, those attacks started spiraling out of control, and I was largely done with what I'd come to do, so I chose to leave.
One of the things that Jackie said in the intro was talking about that evolution from managing the Mueller probe to going to this rally yesterday. And I'm curious, and I think a lot of folks that are watching are very curious what the psychological change is for someone to go from defending Trump in something like the Mueller probe to being out front like you are now. What does it take? What's it like? Because a lot of people have friends and family members who are part of the MAGA coalition, who they have been trying to convince that maybe that isn't the right way for them. What does that change look like, and how did you get there?
Well, that's not a relaxing Sunday morning kind of question.
This is news day.
It's difficult. I've lost friends, alienated some family members. The Kool-Aid is very powerful. If people think it's fine that Tom Homan's got $50,000 in a paper bag that he uses every morning, as far as we know, to buy his Egg McMuffins out of the dashboard, as a precursor to a bribery investigation that the Justice Department and the FBI refused to take the next steps on, merely because he was a Trump loyalist, and then lets out George Santos from prison. I mean, the message is clear. If you're a friend of Trump's, you can do whatever you want, legal or illegal. Legal or illegal. But if you're an enemy, if you're Letitia James, and one of your nieces rents your, modest house in Norfolk, Virginia, you're a target for prosecution, baseless prosecution, of course. And actually, it's pretty shocking. I think the kinds of things that are highlighted actually in the events that I spoke about are what would bring out almost any former prosecutor, person with longstanding government service and significant roles like myself. You have to come out and fight for your country. I mean, for example, in the James case, on Friday we learned that Beth Usey, who is one of the Justice Department's most decorated prosecutors, longstanding prosecutor who went to the Justice Department to protect children. She did child exploitation and obscenity cases for years, did them brilliantly, and her work was so good that she gravitated up to become, the head of the criminal division in Norfolk. She's a John Marshall Award winner, which is a very significant award at the Justice Department, given to attorneys for exceptional contributions and dedication. That not everybody gets. I want you to know they don't pass those out. She's very highly recognized, and she got fired merely for saying to Halligan and Bondi that there was no case against James, and we're not safer. The people in Norfolk, the people in the Eastern District, the people in the country are not safer, with all these firings. So I think for me, the circumstances under which we're stuck for a while and are suffering from require people with my experience to come out and say what they can for America. I wish there were better advocates, but I can't really say no in good conscience to opportunities to make plain what the facts are on the ground that should move people to resist.
And yet, Mr. Cobb, there are plenty of people who have the same experience you have who've decided either to stay on the sidelines or capitulate. Law firms, universities, media companies, all sorts of entities that have decided that instead of pushing back or fighting, that it's better to either go along or to stay silent. What do you say to those either former colleagues, particularly, let's just focus on attorneys and the big law firms? What would you say to your fellow attorneys about what either they should be doing in this time or what their duty is in this time?
Well, I think everybody's duty is to do the next right thing, and the right thing is not capitulation. I think you haven't seen a law firm cravenly capitulate to the president for quite some time. I think those that did have suffered for it, with the possible exception of a couple of the New York firms who are still doing significant work for Trump. But then you got the institutions. I saw a young woman throw some pretty sharp elbows in 2011 when she was on the winning side against Yale at my alma mater, Harvard. And I think you see a lot of institutions throwing those elbows. Harvard among them, MIT among them. So I think the resistance is real. Certainly yesterday, I left with more hope that that's the case than I've had in a long time. I saw a lot of nice people, nobody who could be mistaken for the lies that Mike Johnson tries to tell about the people that were out there. A lot of handicapped people, a lot of elderly people, but a lot of young people who love America and showed it, without acrimony, without violence. They weren't wearing masks like the Trump team, and they weren't hurting people. So I think the distinction between those who took signs out and wore costumes and tried to impact the conscience of America did so because they love America.
Ty Cobb, thank you very much for coming to
My
the
pleasure.
weekend.
Nice to be with you.